Happy Self Love Sunday. I am Mo Sass, your host of Self Love Sundays with Sass. I am your certified vision and empowerment and extreme execution coach who comes every single Sunday so we can talk about all the ways in which you can better your best. And if you right now are feeling burnt out, tired, stressed, having some mood swings, or not quite feeling yourself, this message may be one you want to tune into because all this month we are talking about saying no. The month of November, it's all about saying no. Because the truth of the matter is, most times we are feeling that way because we're prioritizing everything else, everybody else, above ourselves. And particularly during this time of the year, see, the holidays are not all bright and gleamy for everyone. We would love to think, oh my God, it's Thanksgiving and it's about to be Christmas and everybody's jolly and happy. Well, that isn't the case. Some people experience extreme traumatic events around the holidays, and this time brings back up those memories and or events for them. So generally what happens is those people have a group of people that they rely on and to help them throughout this season. And so what happens to the people that they rely on generally are the people who are what I call the yes people. The people who show up no matter what, the people who are always there. They will get on a plane, they will get on a train, they will drive in an automobile to get to whomever they feel needs them. And so you would say to yourself, well, Mo, what's wrong with that? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But here's what's wrong with that. If they are saying yes when internally they feel like they should be saying no, that's when it's a problem. When we say yes to things we want to say no to people we want to say no to, what happens is we start to feel burnt out. We start to feel stressed out. Because here's the truth of the matter. If I'm saying yes in a moment that I want to say no, guess what? I'm still saying no. I need my yes people. I need my people pleasers to come in the building. I need you to sit across from me so we can have this discussion right now. Because the truth of the matter is you think that you're not saying no, but you are. So in that yes, that means generally you're saying no to something you were supposed to be doing or a place that you were supposed to be at that 9 times out of 10 would have helped you. But sometimes we get so busy helping others, busy being busy, that we not only neglect but avoid ourselves. And there's something in that. There is something in that. We would love to have everyone believe, right? We are just those people. And why am I saying we are just those people? Why am I saying we? Because I cannot talk to you from a place that I have not been. Was exactly who I was. And you may say, hey, Mo, well, that was just you. But here's what I've come to find as being a coach that helps people create a vision for their life that empowers them to leave a legacy for their children's children. What's in the way of most of their vision is the fact that they can't say no. And it's interesting that when this topic comes up, I'm working with a client, and just this week I was working with a client, and he was getting ready to, he was like, oh, he was feeling all kinds of angst because he was getting ready to go away this weekend to someone's party that he didn't even want to go to. And then he couldn't really figure out, he's just like, man, I've had it with the workplace. I'm just I'm just really not here. I just really don't want to be bothered, right? But all of that's happening because it's starting to build up some resentment. Because guess what happens when I'm saying yes and I'm going to places I don't want to be? That means I'm neglecting myself. I'm neglecting my needs. So after a while, it just becomes overwhelming and tired. And so the things that you're supposed to do, the things that used to bring you joy, the things that you loved, you just don't want to do anymore because you're tired. You're tired. You're showing up in every place for everyone. But what happens is you're neglecting you. So what am I saying? Saying no, right, has an effect on your mental and emotional health. It allows you to value yourself more when you say no. I really want everyone to hear that. You wonder why sometimes mentally, emotionally, you're all over the place? Is because you're neglecting the very person that needs you. And that's you. And am I saying to you that we're not supposed to be there for people? Absolutely not. I promise you, my friends know. If they need me, there is nothing that I won't do to help them. However, and what I've learned in this season of my life is, if I don't help me, see, this is the kicker. If I don't help me, I cannot be there for them. Because how do I show up? I show up half behind. You know what I was really wanting to say, okay? I show up and so I'm not fully even me. I'm not in my superpower. So I'm there, but I'm not there. So I'm there, but I'm scrolling on my phone. So I'm there, but I'm all in my head. So my body is there, but mentally I'm not. Because I know that I technically really shouldn't be there. So once again, when you're saying yes, when you really want to say no, what are you really saying no to? Because you're saying no to something. Just think about it for a second. How many times have you showed up and you're not really even there? So are you really even being there for the person? And then when you do that, I want you to ask yourself again, and I said this in my video last week, why am I really doing this? Am I really doing it for the person, or am I doing it in hopes that someone will do it for me one day? And I had to pause on it because it's so, listen, when you don't say no, right? There's going to be some opportunities that's going to show up that you're really going to want to do, you're really going to want to be a part of, that then you're going to be forced to say no. You're not going to be able to say yes to those opportunities. Why? Because if you don't take care of yourself, A, you're not going to be able to show up. B, if you're like me, what I used to do, helping people financially, when I should have been saying no. So there's a business opportunity that shows up at my door. I don't have the finances anymore. Here's the thing. This is the holiday season. My kids, just like anybody else, listen, I have 5 children living now. And although all of them are grown except for one, my 17-year-old, my baby, and I have 2 grandkids. I promise you, I'm going to have to say no to some of the things on their list. Why? Because I'm a homeowner, I'm a business owner, and what I understand is, although I budget, and I like to think that I budget well, sometimes my financial advisor says I don't, but whatever, right? I know that there are things that happen. Literally just, 2 months ago, I had a pipe burst on my HVAC system that flooded my basement. Now, here's the thing. We say, oh, but hey, listen, you have homeowners, of course, but it doesn't cover everything all the time. So now I'm coming out of my pocket for things that I wasn't prepared for. But had I not, follow me, had I not said no to things that were going on before this, had I not said no to some of my kids' demands, I wouldn't have been able to help, put money towards the things that need to be fixed in the basement. Right? So this is the thing. So just imagine, I've done this before, so I don't even have to imagine it. There's times when I gave money away to people, supposed to have been a loan, but child, we already know that loans is never really loans. You just have to chalk it up to say, guess what? I gave the money away where I shouldn't have. And then things came up that I was supposed to take care of and I couldn't do it. And guess what happened to my mental health? Guess what happened to my emotions? I'm down and I'm upset. But there's no one I could have really been upset with but myself. Because here's the truth of the matter. When I loaned the money, everything in my gut said, don't do it. Don't do it. Because I also realized that it ruins relationships. Right? And I'm not telling anyone. Be very clear when you listen to my videos. I am a coach that tells people that success leaves clues. I will give you things that have happened to me in my life. I will talk to you about things that are going on with my clients as well. I will talk to you about things that I've learned in my certifications. That does not mean that you take this and apply it to your life as it doesn't resonate. I am not sitting on this video telling you that you should never loan money or you should never do things for people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if it's going to cost you in the long run, if I'm saying that, if that's going to then turn your yes into a liability as opposed to an asset, then that's when you have to take a step back and say, I can't do that. I'm sorry, but I can't help you this time. I'm sorry, I wish I could, but I'm not in a position to. Because of the simple fact of, especially again during the holiday season, my kids, listen, I have my granddaughter asking me for like a $300 purse, y'all. Like, it happens. Now, if you have the ability to do it and it doesn't cost you anything, let me tell you something, honey. I'm like, go for it, because I'm that girl, okay? I'm that girl. I take care of myself. I love quality items. So I'm not telling you not to spend either. What I'm saying to you is that if it's going to cost you, and you know it's going to cost you, if you know it's going to build resentment, if you know you're going to buy it and then hold it over their heads and say, well, I paid such and such, don't do it. If you know you're going to loan that money and hold, don't do it. Because that means you really wanted to say no anyway. So just say no and save yourself and them the trouble, right? Because I'm telling you guys, and here's the thing, I'm not telling you something that you don't know. If you're watching this video right now, you are already aware of how you've made yourself feel. You know you've said yes in places you wanted to say no, and what it has cost you in the long run. And sometimes we need to remember those things. I am never one to hold on to the past, but I'm one to hold on to the lesson that I learned from the past. And what I've learned over and over again is that every time I say yes when I'm supposed to say no, it costs me something. It costs me something. It has cost me opportunities. It has landed me in places and spaces I should have never been. So what is it costing you? What is it costing you? Right? So I want you to know that throughout this, I mentioned something in the beginning about the holidays, and it's not always great for everyone. I'll share a little bit of a story with you. So Thanksgiving in the year of 2010 was the last Thanksgiving that my children had an opportunity to spend with their brother. At that time, I didn't come to the Thanksgiving. I'm always doing something, child. I'm on my own over here doing in my own little world doing something, but I didn't go to that Thanksgiving. It was at my ex-husband's family home, and I didn't go. Okay? That was the last opportunity my kids had to spend with their older brother, because on December 11th, 2010, he was taken from us. He was murdered. So last Thanksgiving, and then right before Christmas, right before the holidays, we buried him on December 17th. So the holidays is not always this is what I mean by holidays are not always the best time for everyone. But here's what I want to say to my people who are dealing with grief through the holidays. It's great to have a circle of people around you, because I have a circle. I have a wonderful circle of people. However, I want to ask you today to get help in other ways. Why? Because our trauma, our tragedies, our mental and emotional health, all those things that are going on, we have to realize that the people that are there, that are showing up for us, they have the same things going on for them. And so sometimes that can be very draining. There's times they're going to be there, of course. That's the purpose of friendship, to have the circle. But I caution you that if you're feeling this pull, this emotional pull daily, I'm going to say to you, then it is time for you to get help. And so what did I do at that time? I actually not only put myself in grief therapy, I also did it for my children. And what that allowed me to do is to take the heaviest of the burdens and place them in a container, in an environment where it allowed me to bounce this off a therapist, somebody who had not only the credentials, but the experience to help me walk through this. And what that allowed me to do is not overburden my friends. And what it allowed them to do was show up in their superpower, because they didn't show up with this need that I was overly needy. It allowed them to show up in the most healthiest way. So if you are a person that is the person, the people that are there for others right now, I'm going to say to you that if you know that the person has become a drain to you, and you still want to be there, I'm going to say to you also to get some help. Because when you put a therapist in there and someone who's licensed to do this, it helps you to be able to navigate through the friendship. It helps you to be able to navigate through the relationship. It really does. It's just like when people go to AA, they always tell people it's not just the person who's going to go to AA, but every one of their family members also should get themselves into a program, because it helps you be able to help them. And what am I saying? That you can't help anyone until you help yourself. I can't show up here every Sunday and talk to you. I can't show up in my superpower as a coach. I cannot show up on those accountability calls. I can't show up for my friends. I can't show up for my future husband if I do not show up for myself today. That's what the power of no can do for you. So if you are having a hard time saying no, I only want you to do 3 things. The very first thing I want you to do is take a step back and don't answer and or reply for at least 30 minutes to 24 hours. And what you're going to do in that time that you are stepping back is I want you to ask yourself, if I say yes to this, who or what will I have to say no to? Because there's something in someone else you will have to say no to, even if it's yourself. We just talked about that. Okay? Number 1. Number 2, if you really want to say no to the person or this event or whatever, because you always say yes, I'm not talking to the people who say no to everything. Okay? Don't try to use this video as an excuse to keep saying no. I'll address you in another video. This is about my people pleasers. This is about my yes people. This is about my people who put a cape on and show up everywhere for everyone, no matter how much they are drowning and dying. This is who I'm talking to. And so I want you to ask yourself this question. Why do I feel that this person's needs and or wants are more important than mine? I want you to journal it. Ask yourself that question. Why? Why do I feel that being in this place, showing up, is more important than how I'm feeling in the moment? Because it's one thing to say, hey, listen, I got invited to this place and I want to go. Maybe I'm in a little bit of a rut and I want to get out and I want to have a good time, because I've done that, right? That's one thing. But it's a total other thing to just be like, man, this is the first weekend I have to myself. I'm so busy. I'm always working, or I'm always doing this or doing. I just want to take this weekend to myself. And someone asks you to do something, or someone asks you to show up somewhere, and you already said, you made that declaration, like, I just want to take some time for me. But yet you break it. Why do you feel that that's more important than you taking time for yourself? And my moms, my mothers, my dads, because my ex-husband, we're divorced, but he's a father. Okay, he shows up for his children. But sometimes we do that to our detriment. When they're younger, don't get it twisted. Like, we have to, show up. But there are also times in that, right, where we still need to take care of ourselves. Because sometimes we're not showing up as the parent we want to be and or need to be, because we are a hot mess in the inside. So that leads me to the third question. Who can help you set those boundaries? Who can help you be able to start to learn to say no in areas where you are saying yes and really don't want to? Who is it that you can call on? And I'm going to say it again. I love my friends, and I love them being part of my journey. But there are times when I need a paid, unbiased professional. Okay? And that's the reason why I have a therapist and a coach. Why would a coach have a coach? Because I'm striving to get to the next level. Every next level you're striving to go to, there is someone that is 5 steps ahead that you need to be engaged with. So I have a coach is where I want to be. That's already in that 7-figure plus. That's helping me navigate. Okay? So every step requires that. So I have the help that I need. And and if you follow me for a long time, and if you haven't, please go back and check out my YouTube videos, because I talk about the system I've built around me. I have a winning system. Having a therapist and a coach is a part of having a winning system, especially if you're any sort of leadership. If you're in any sort of leadership role, you absolutely should be surrounded with a system that's going to help you win. So my mental health is taken care of. My emotional health is taken care of. I have a personal trainer. My physical health is being helped right now, right? So I have a winning system around me. I have accountability partners that holds me accountable to ensuring that I tap in to my therapist and to my coaches when I'm supposed to. Why? Because we're all human. We are not meant to walk this walk alone. The problem also with my people pleasers is most of you walk your walk alone. You show up for everyone else. You're there for everyone else, but you will not allow someone to be there for you. You do it with the hopes that somebody will, but you won't even allow them. Why? Because if you neglect and don't be there for yourself, you don't really believe that somebody else is going to do it. Are we going to be real today? Are we going to talk honestly today? It's time to get real. It's time to say no to people, places, and spaces that you know you should be saying no to, or that you continuously say yes to, but yet you found yourself burnt out, stressed, stagnant, stuck, tired, exhausted. You're a mom who just, you are just worn out. Like, how can I care for my kids? They're running amok because you're running amok on the inside. Same thing with my dads. It's this undeniable, unbelievable pressure to show up as this man figure that needs to provide and protect and do all these things. Yet you're not taking care of you. And so you're wondering why you're not feeling well. You're wondering why, and then not going to the doctors. I'm going to say this to my people too. It's time to say yes to your health. Take care of yourself. Say no to those things. Say no to drinking a bunch of soda. Say no to the alcohol. Say no to the drugs. It's time to say no so that you can show up and for that legacy that you're trying to leave for your children's children. It's time to say no to the things that are pulling you down. It's time to say no to those television shows that you're watching that are not good for your mental health. It's time to say no to those people who you always are there for, who are never there for you. It's time to say no to your children because you're only saying yes because you feel like you want to give them something that you never had or your parents couldn't do. So living up to this unrealistic expectation. It's time to say no to showing up in your marriage resentful because you said yes to something you didn't want to. It's time. It's time. Let this be your sign if you ever needed one. Let this be your sign if you ever needed one. That it is okay for you to say no to everything around you that's pulling you down and say yes to you. And once you've worked on your healing, because that's what I'm talking about. Once you start to work on your healing, it is okay to show back up in that capacity. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be able to show up then in your superpower. You're going to be able to show up the way you want to. Instead of showing up as this half-drained, just tired person, putting on this mask in this front. When you get to the other side, it's beautiful, y'all. I watch my clients do it after, we do the 12. I have a 30-day mindset program and then a 12-week program. I'm not just telling it to you. You can go to my website, www.moesass.com, mosass.com. Read the testimonials for yourself. I'm not telling you to hire me. I'm telling you that if you do the work, if you hire the help that you need for you, you too can show up in so much love, and you can leave out of that survival mode, and you can do everything from a place of love, from a place of healing. And that, my friends, feels beautiful. And if you have any questions for me at all, you can email me at info at mosas.com. You can also message me on Instagram and Facebook, and it's Life Coaching, the W, not the whole with, just the W out of with, SAS. So Life Coaching with only the W, SAS. I hope to hear from you. I hope you have the most amazing, amazing week, and I will talk to you next Sunday.